You'll notice from the title, it's a little bit of a play on words. What am I talking about? I think you know, but let's deep dive.
I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening.
Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer. And I don't normally choose, well, I try to choose clever titles. It's funny, choosing titles for podcasts that's a tricky thing because it's gotta be a good title that makes people want to listen to it. It's gotta almost be the headline of a newspaper story. It should make you want to click on it, but it also can't be too long. And I get people all the time that write in with podcast ideas for me. You should talk about this. They're almost always terrible ideas. Sorry, but they are. And they always have a really long time. Like, you should talk about how you should talk about hormone imbalances in the female body at age 50 and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's like 3 sentences. It's a podcast title. So you have to keep them short. You have to keep them concise. It's got to fit in the line. They got parameters here. So I try to choose clever titles, but definitely don't let your weekend become your weekend. 2 separate words, WEAK. It's definitely interesting, isn't it? And I know that you all are listening to this and you're like, maybe there are a few of you who do not screw up on the weekend. I'm one of those people that, not because I'm not saying I'm perfect or I don't screw up. I'm saying that I'm not one of those people that gets derailed by the weekend. All right, so let's break this down. Let's talk about traditional workers, people who work traditional jobs outside the home. Now, if you're married to someone who works a traditional job and you guys have a traditional lifestyle where you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, maybe you both do, maybe just he does, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you don't work outside the home. Maybe this is just, you don't have to work outside the home, that he's been able to provide a comfortable lifestyle for you, or you've played your cards right and you have a very, it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. It's how much you keep. That's the key thing. And not a lot of families can survive on a single income, but maybe you are one of those fortunate people. And I don't know, but most people have a traditional Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. And then they have the weekends. Now, there are a fair bit, I wouldn't say a lot, a fair bit of entrepreneurs listening to this, and people who work for themselves and people who own their own companies. And maybe even if you own your own company, you're still working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I say 9 to 5. I'm just saying, like, that kind of that Dolly Parton, song, 9 to 5 kind of thing set up. I don't think anybody really goes to the office at 9. I mean, I'd be like, what are you, did you get into an accident? Are you sick? If somebody rolled in at 9, I'd be like, what? And stopping at 5? That's just not the way we kind of do things in our society, but okay. But you know what I'm saying? That traditional working hour time frame, the traditional work day. Now, with people who work traditional jobs Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, the weekends are traditionally, at least in this country, the time off for the average traditional worker. That's the and I'm not talking about the muscular class. The muscular class are people who work with their hands, people who usually work in trades, the hardworking, I'm not saying hardworking, the physically demanding jobs, the electricians, the linemen, the plumbers, the garbage men, they work, maybe they don't have the weekends off. I'm not sure, but the traditional kind of job, Monday through Friday, the weekends are usually the time off. And it starts like this. It starts midday on Friday. is what people and I see it, you guys. I live at the top of the Grove Hotel, downtown Boise, and I look across at the Clearwater building, and I look at the Zion building, and I look at the US Bank building, and I look into the offices. I can see right into them. And I can see things that are going on. I can see when the boss has people. There is this I can see into the break room of I don't know what company it is. I can see when they have to work late and stuff. I can see what's going on. And uh I see what happens, and I know because I used to be in the corporate world too. I know what happens halfway through Friday. And halfway through Friday, you start to let it down. You start to let your hair down. Now, um I don't know. I know this does happen that sometimes people go out. I mean, if you watch The Office with, with Steve Carell and John Krasinski and Rain, um Ryan, what's his name? Rain Wilson. Anyway, The Office that was on for like 10 years or 9 seasons or something like that. They they have funny episodes where people are actually going and kind of getting a little bit buzzed on their lunch hour. Well, I do know that happens. I know that halfway through the day on Fridays, people like go out for margaritas and they kind of start that happy hour early, which I'm mortified to think that people, while they're still on the clock, would actually have a couple of drinks on at over at Cafe Ole halfway through Friday at lunchtime. And then they would come back to work a little bit tipsy. Like, I can't even believe it, but I do know that people start early. They start to mentally shut it down. It's been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and half of Friday that they've been working. And then they start to shut it down halfway through Friday. And then they all get off early and they usually go out to drinks for happy hour. And that's where it starts. The weekend becomes their week end. And they tie one on, or they'll start to eat crap and they'll just let their hair down and they let it all go and they numb the stress with food, sugar, and alcohol. They numb the stress. They let it all down. They let it all go. They gossip about things at work. They loosen up the tie and they take off, they untuck the shirt, and you just kind of like, just letting it all go from the work week. And then it starts, guys. And then you're waking up, you might kind of, go get a little loose on Friday, and you start a happy hour, and then you eat, you have a couple of drinks, and then you're free of your inhibitions and all kinds of things happen. You don't care anymore. And so then you start to have, you going face down at a charcuterie board, and then you're ordering appetizers. Now you got the appetizer sampler from Applebee's, and everybody's sitting around. They don't give an F. They don't care. They don't care. And then you wake up Saturday morning, you've slept in, so you've woken up dehydrated. You're already 2 hours past what time you usually wake up. At least most people sleep in on the weekends if you have traditional jobs, depending on if you have kids or grandkids or all, if you're a caregiver, all that, those variables. But, a traditional person is going to sleep in. So they're used to being hydrated pretty good with their water all week long, at least Monday through half of Friday. And then their body gets used to that. And then you wake up so incredibly thirsty on Saturday morning, and you're behind the 8 ball. And of course, when your body is thirsty, it sends signals that it's hungry, and you wake up hungry, which really you're just massively dehydrated. And you kind of stumble around. You're going to pour yourself a cup of coffee before you even touch your water. You're probably not even going to get on the scale because you don't even want to see what the scale is after last night's shenanigans, after going out for happy hour and then just keeping it going a little bit. And then, you might have gotten home from happy hour and you change into your comfortable jammies. You pop some popcorn, got a bottle of wine, and you sat and watched a movie from Netflix. I mean, you just kept the whole thing going. Woke up, a little bit of a headache, dehydrated, didn't touch your water, went right into a cup of coffee, starving. You might have gotten leftovers that you brought home from Cafe Ole. It's just, you're off to a bad start. You're off to a bad start. You're inflamed. You didn't get on the scale. You're inflamed. You got a headache. You don't feel good. And when we don't feel good, we don't make good decisions. So now you're starting to, it's 11 o'clock in the morning and you're thinking, what are we gonna do today? Let's go out to eat for lunch. And you just keep this whole thing going. And you make bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. And then you stack up all these bad choices back to back to back. And then Sunday morning, you might do something Saturday night. You might have something that you shouldn't be having on Saturday night. You wake up Sunday morning. And of course, when you have crap and crap carbs, when you don't nourish your body on a cellular level, which is you're not doing that when you have popcorn and pizza and things like that. And Whataburger, if you're having Taco Bell and those I wouldn't even call it food, that food like products, you're not getting nourished on a cellular level. So your cells are starving, which is how obese people can still be starving because they're not getting what they need. So you wake up hungry. You're hungry. Isn't it funny how hungry you can be when you eat ultra processed crap food and you drink too much wine? You wake up so hungry. And you're just like, I must have burned through all that food because I'm waking up hungry. It's your body crying out for nutrients. Nutrients, not leftover cold pizza, actual nutrients, actual meat and protein. Your body is crying out for it. It's crying out for the minerals, the manganese and the different minerals that you get. And those are micronutrients as well. You're not getting the nutrients. Your body is crying out for it. You wake up starving. You're not hydrated like you should. Everything's out of whack. Now you're constipated or you have a diarrhea from the junk food and your body is all whacked out from the junk food and the poor choices, the food, sugar, and alcohol that you abused Friday night and probably at some point all day Saturday or Saturday night or halfway through Saturday, or you did 2 meals on Saturday. They were both crappy choices. And now you've woken up just starving Sunday morning. So you get up, you go to church, or you do what you do, and then you go to Golden Corral or you go to China Buffet after church. And now you're having this overload of MSG and you're having the highly inflammatory seed oils and you're having a more sugar, more crap, ultra processed food. And you're just eating so much. And now you feel like garbage because you paid all that money for that all you can eat buffet. I mean, it's easy to go on a diet after dinner or after a all you can eat buffet on Sundays. Oh, it's easy to make that commitment, isn't it? You let your weekend become your week end. You have just ruined all your progress. I've watched people in bodybuilding ruin an entire year's worth of hard work in the gym and with their diet, maybe, for their competition. I've watched them gain everything back in under 2 weeks. My trainer, Corey, said he's watched them gain it all back in 1 week. I've heard of people gaining 40 pounds in 2 weeks. The interesting thing when you go into a bodybuilding show, you see these people on stage. Sorry, I'm burping. I don't know why. I'm just burping into the microphone. You see these people on stage, and you'll notice in my documentary, the Code Red Diaries of Madness documentary, that is trending very well on Amazon Prime, by the way. We're still holding in the top spots. You'll notice that Dr. Redden, Caleb Redden, my physician that supervised me during this transformation, he said, unfortunately, in order to look very, very good on stage, you have to feel very, very bad. And the problem is, in order for all those small muscles to pop out, you have to really pretty severely dehydrate and calorie restrict down to where you're very thin skinned and you can see you want to be vascular. You want to see the striations. You want to see the separations. You really want to be dried out. That's a term in bodybuilding. We want to be really, really dried out. And you're really sensitive. So the problem is, once you get off the stage, everybody goes out to eat afterwards and they celebrate. You've been working on this for 4 months. You haven't had a cheat meal. You haven't had any kind of anything. And then you're dehydrated and your body is it's primed and it's crying out for something. It wants hydration. It's very, 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 very sensitive. That's when bodybuilding competitors have to be extremely careful. And it's always a funny thing, and it's kind of a thing among competitors where they'll be backstage and they're biting into a donut. And is that one donut going to ruin their progress? No, it's just that you're so over the top sensitive to everything that you're going to bloat up like a tick. Any kind of salt, any kind of sugar, any alcohol, you'll bloat up like a tick because your body is just going to hang on to everything. And it's very dangerous spot. You want to be really careful. After my show, we went out, I was so tired, and it was me and Marley and two other girls. Who was that? Two other people. Oh, Carrie Martin, Coach Carrie came to see me, and I think one other person. And we went over, I think we split a hamburger. Was that it, Carrie? I can't remember. Um, yeah, I think we split a hamburger, but we didn't even, it was just, or maybe it was sushi or something. It was like I worked so hard. I wanted something, it was kind of a thing. I knew it but I had to be really, and my coach told me, be very, very careful, or you're going to bloat you just puff up like a tick. You go boop, and you'll just boop, puff out. And it's just really scary. So you have to be super careful when you're, even just as a Code Red Rebel, you're working your way through the week and you have been on plan the whole week. You have eaten meat, vegetables, nuts, eggs, seeds, seafoods, and fat. You have pre-planned, pre-measured, pre-logged all your food if you have a customized program. You have hit all of your water. You have eaten your 2 meals in the windows of time that you and your coach have come up with. We always work things out with you on what 2 times eating times are going to be the best for you. We always worked out. Everybody's different, and we have a cutoff time when you're in a customized program. And so we have worked all that out. You've done really well, and you're dropping weight all week long. Everything's going great. And so your body is rid of all the toxins. If it's doing fine, and then all of a sudden you abuse food, sugar, and alcohol. Does that sound too harsh to you? Does it sound too harsh when I say abuse food, sugar, and alcohol? I do not care. Get a helmet. That's what you are doing. You are abusing food, sugar, and alcohol when you do what I described that a lot of people do on the weekends. And you take 1 step forward and 2 steps back, and you never make any progress towards your weight loss goals and towards your health goals. And that's what people, they let their weekend become their weekend. You undo all that progress. You just 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And you just continue to go backward. Then you got to spend Monday, Tuesday, you got to spend the whole week trying to get that weight. One small cheat will set you back a week of progress. I'm talking one Costco sample will set you back a week of progress. One French fry from the bottom of your kids. Guys, why are you feeding your kids McDonald's? Why are you feeding them French fries, guys? There are 17 ingredients in French fries. I use that for an example because so many of you guys can relate to it, but I really hope you're truly not letting your kids eat fast food, because they're going to get type 2 diabetes, and that's going to be blood on your hands. But even if you have one French fry from the bottom of your kid's Happy Meal bag, just one bite of Ben & Jerry's, one glass of wine, just one piece, one bite, one slice, just one. That's going to set you back an entire week. Imagine if you let your weekend become your weekend, you have let it just ended you. That's it. You're back to square one. And so with bodybuilders, with competitive bodybuilders, they're normally the girls and guys are really they're a whole different breed, guys. They have really great control. But if it's someone that isn't like a kind of a seasoned bodybuilder, they can let that cheat now become a snowball, and it just turns into one right after the other. My friend Chelsea, she's a pro, and she competed. I was in Salt Lake at the Wasatch Warrior show watching her, and she had a show the very next weekend. So I said to her, everybody's going out tonight. What, do you get to have any cheat food? And she said, I get to have a steak and a baked potato. And so that was cheat for her. She had to stay on plan because she was competing 7 days later. And so a steak and a baked potato, because we don't normally in bodybuilding, it's not a high fat diet. It's a low fat diet. It's high protein and high carbs at times. And then of course we manipulate the carbs. We bring the carbs down and up, down and up. according, and it does weird things to your body. It's a very different way of looking at things. It's not what we teach on Code Red, but bodybuilding is a very different game. I'm not a bodybuilding coach. I have two coaches because I don't know what I'm doing with bodybuilding, with the dieting part especially. But um, it to have a steak for a bodybuilder is very rare. It's just too much fat for a bodybuilder. I mean, you get 50 grams a day. It's very easy to go over that just in cream for your coffee. You got to be super, super careful with the fat. And so for her, that was a cheat meal, baked potato. And, I'm sure there was butter on the baked potato, maybe sour cream and maybe lots of salt and stuff. So she had a nice high fat steak. That was a cheat meal for her. And so that was it. She had to go right back to it the very next morning. And a lot of times bodybuilders, when they're not in super, super control, even ones that don't have a show, they have to be extremely in control. They got to reel it right back in. That very next morning, they are out on the treadmill. They are in the gym. They're doing their normal routine. Nothing changes for them. But so many people who are just one-time competitors and they don't understand the nature of the trap and they don't understand the way the body works, you can get that it just feeds into, makes you want more. You got to be careful. A lot of girls you'll see Instagram competitive bodybuilders and they're leaning over and pretending like they're taking a bite of donut and they're really not. A lot of influencers do that with cheat meals. I mean, you see influencers and they're standing over all this pancakes and waffles and pizzas and they're like, and you think, are they really eating that? No, they are not. No, they are not. Or a lot of people will pretend, they'll act like they're eating something and they're really not eating it because they know they don't want their weekend to become their weekend. And they're posing for a picture. So much of what you see online is not real. And a lot of those girls that you'll see in backstage at a competition eating a donut, they might even just have that one bite, literally that one bite of donut, or they might just lick the top of the frosting off. Isn't that funny? They don't even have, it's just, they know their body is really susceptible to soaking up the sugar, the sodium. It's very ultra, ultra, ultra sensitive. And they know it can be a slippery slope because you trigger that dopamine hit. And now your body because you're starving at that moment. Your body is starving to look good. And so you have to really be super gentle, super careful coming off of a show. And people have snowballed and they have caved and they can't come back from it. And they've gained back 40 pounds that they lost. And they do it in, they do it in a week. They do it in 2 weeks. It's devastating. All that hard work down the drain. And it's heartbreaking to watch because you truly feel like, and I remember feeling this way. I kept my weight off for 5 months following my show. I did a pretty good job reversing. I could have done better though. And I plan on, with my show coming up at the end of the summer, I plan on reversing so much better because I have a whole completely different mindset than I did before. And I just, like, even now in prep, I'm completely content. It's the afternoon right now. I'm not thinking about food. I'm not thinking about cheating. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to go off the rails. I'm sitting here with my water. It's just a completely different mindset. I've got a lot of control, but you would be surprised at how much when you don't have access to that food and you don't allow yourself to have it, one bite of it is like a drug addict. It's crazy. It's crazy how it can take over your brain because sugar lights up the same areas of your brain like cocaine does. It's the same reaction in your brain. So you have to really be careful with it. You can understand why somebody's weekend would become their weekend when they are, in playing, doing a great job all during the week. And then they say it's just this once. It's just this one bite. It's just this one bag of popcorn. It's just this one slice. It's just this one piece. And it's never just this once. I've done that podcast before and it never just this once. And they can't come back from it. They can't come back from it. Now, can you come back from it? Yeah. I mean, it takes them over and then they go off the rails and then they do 3 days worth of binging or cheating or however you want to say it, whatever you're comfortable with. And then, of course, they're back at work Monday morning and they're like, I'm back on. They let their weekend become their weekend. And it's hard to come back. And then you spend all week long feeling like crap, constipated, diarrhea, stomach ache, headache, bloated, nothing fits, everything feels like crap. You're full of shame and guilt, and you should be. Oh, I said it, and you should be. Yeah, you should beat yourself up a little bit over that. Yeah, you suck. You suck. You knew what you did was wrong and you chose to do it anyway. You knew it was going to set you back. You didn't care. You were like, F it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You knew what it was going to do. You chose to do it. You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Yeah, beat yourself up a little bit over it. And what are you going to do to make sure you prevent that from happening this time? Put measures in place to protect you from the pushers at your work that are like, listen, we're going over to Chapala's. All right, we're gonna leave here at 3. We're gonna leave here at 3. Projects are done. We're leaving here at 3. Are you coming? And you want to come, but sometimes you have to say no. You know, just before I started this podcast, my mom said, "Are you gonna come over and spend the night tonight, sis?" Because it right now is Thursday night. I sometimes spend the night on Thursday nights. I wake up in the morning and I go and I do the ship show and I'm there. I do the ship show. No big deal. But I said no. And I didn't see what she said. I could look at the I could look and see what she didn't even reply. Okay. Well, the reason I said no is only because it's really comfortable at my mom's house. She doesn't keep junk food around, but she has popcorn. And popcorn is my weakness. I love popcorn. You guys know I've made a ton of jokes about popcorn before, and I'm afraid that I will get there and I will want popcorn because I get snuggled in. My mom is her house is very comfortable and it's very fun and my whole family's there and I would snuggle in and she's got super comfortable couches where they go back, the ottoman comes up automatically. You got to push a button, it goes and it comes up, and then she has these fuzzy blankets over you, and then right there, and then they have this giant TV, and we turn on a movie or we turn on something like some chef movie or something, some show that they're like Farmer Wants a Wife. I don't know, crap I never watched, but it's fun to watch it with her. And then I want popcorn. I want popcorn when I'm there. And she's not going to say no to me because she's not, I'm an adult. She's not in charge of me. Like she'll just like Cristy will make her own decision. And I'm afraid I'm going to cave. So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to spend a little bit of time. Then I've got a plan in place. Hazel and I need to do a long run today because I've got a marathon to run in less than a month and I need to get in a long run. And so I'm going to come back. I've got a plan. I'm going to come back downtown. I'm going to sleep in my own bed. I can control the variables here. I won't be tempted with the popcorn as the sun goes down and everybody starts to get snuggled in their fuzzy blankets on the couch and I'm going to start wanting popcorn. I'm going to leave before that happens. So you got to put plans in place to protect you from those areas of your life that derail you, or you will let your weekend become your weekend. I refuse to let my weekend become my weekend. Now, as an entrepreneur, I work all the time. Weekends, weekdays, holidays, they all blend together. I do not take traditional days off or times off. I don't really have that luxury. I live my life the way I want. I don't have these set times off where like I turn off my phone. I think that's great that people can do that, but that's not really, we got a lot of projects we're working on with Code Red there's, if I'm waiting on for example, I'm waiting on a reply on something from Andrea that I need her help with. And I haven't heard back from her. Well, if I just decide to just turn off my phone, well, and then she gets free and she answers me back, I need that answer. So I don't have traditional hours. I kind of just work. I'm kind of around. I do silence my phone at night, of course, and I silence my phone when I'm with people or when I'm on a run. I don't stop and answer phone calls when I'm on a run. That's my running time, is my refuge. I don't mess with my phone in the gym. And so I don't have those kind of set hours that some of you have, but I do have times in my life that can derail me. Just like the popcorn thing, it's snuggled warm on my mom's couch. And it just, I want to eat popcorn when I'm watching that big TV. And so I know that's my weakness. So I already said no to that. I just can't do it, guys. I have to keep on track. And I can't let my weekend become my weekend. And this would be my equivalent. I mean, even though it's be Thursday night, it's still, I don't want that to become my weekend. I don't want this Thursday night to become my weekend, to become a mess up, to become a poor choice, become a stupid choice. It's not a mistake. I don't know why you guys go, oh, I made a mistake. No, you did not make a mistake. You made a bad choice. You chose. Nobody shoved that crap in your mouth. I chose to get up to walk to the cupboard to get a bag of popcorn out from Costco and pop it in 2.5 minutes. I chose to do that. I chose to do it. It's not a mistake. I chose to do it. Nobody did it for me. Nobody shoved it down my throat. I just call it what it is. It's your choice. You did not make a mistake. You made a choice. It was a stupid decision. I'm not doing that. I got too much riding on this. And I gave myself my word. I promised made a promise to myself. And I don't want to, I'm not going to let myself down. And neither should you. You came to me and you said, I'm sick and tired of my own bull crap. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get healthy. And you chose Code Red, which is the proper human diet, real food, water, sleep. You did not choose Ozempic. You did not choose Nutrisystem. You did not choose Beachbody shakes. You chose real food, water, and sleep. No shakes, no pills, no diet foods, no exercise. You chose this because you were sick and tired of your own crap. Okay. So then don't let your weekend become your weekend. I've seen this happen more times than I can count. It's just one step forward and 2 steps back. And what are you going to do about it? You know, that food has done you no good. You know what that crap tastes like. You're sick and you're fat because of those stupid choices that you keep making on the weekends. So, are you ready? Are you truly ready to change? Because you told me you were ready to change. You sent me a DM on Instagram crying and snotting around about how sick of your own crap you were. Really? All right. We'll see how sick you are of it when everybody starts pressuring you to go to Cafe Olay at 3:00 on Fridays. We'll see. We'll see if you can remember that DM that you sent me. We'll see if you can remember the times that you sat in your closet crying because you had nothing to wear. We'll see if you remember at that moment how embarrassed you were to walk up the bleachers to your kid's soccer game because you had to walk in front of all the other parents. We'll see if you remember the time that you didn't want to have intimacy with your husband because you didn't want to take off your clothes. We'll see if that comes to your mind at 3:00 on Friday when they ask you to go to Chapala's for margaritas. We'll see if that comes to your mind. We'll see if you remember how hard it was to get up off the ground when you tried to garden and pull some weeds in your yard. Something you love to do. You love to garden, but you can't get up off the ground. Your knees hurt too bad. We'll see if that comes to mind. I can promise you it probably doesn't. But the idea is that it does. The idea is that you continue to remember your why over and over and over so that you don't continue to go around this mountain. You continue to remind yourself why you're doing this. I want to get healthy. I want to walk my daughter down the aisle. I want to dance at her wedding. I want to see her graduate with a master's degree. I want to have intimacy with my spouse and feel good in my skin. I don't want to be worried about sundresses in the summer and showing my shoulders and showing my arms because they're so fat. I'm sick and tired of being embarrassed in front of the other parents. You're sick and tired of hiding. Let's see if that comes to mind at 3:00 on Friday when everybody's loading up to go to Chapala's. Huh? What's it going to be? You going to stick to the plan? Or is your weekend going to become your weekend? I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you are looking for some hardcore accountability to get and keep this weight off, look no further because I've got VIP Connection. This is the ultimate connection to me, just short of me sleeping on your couch. You're going to get 3 daily messages from me in real time directly to you. You're going to submit your weight every Friday. We're going to go over it in a weekly meeting on Sunday nights, and I'm going to give you feedback. You'll have access to a monthly VIP breakfast with me in Boise, a monthly VIP supplement box, access to any workshop, any PDF promo that I hold for that month. You'll have access to the Ringside membership. And best of all, you'll have a fully customized nutrition program written just for you. We're talking about over $3,000 total value for $397 a month, and you can cancel anytime. Go to coderedlifestyle.com/VIP to check that out.